Fracking, written by Bloomberg. Fracking is a way of pulling oil and gas from shale rock. It has produced a flood of new energy in the US and Canada, lowering fuel prices. Fracking has also created jobs for a lot of people. Having more oil and gas also helps the two countries use less coal. Coal is a fossil fuel just like oil and gas, but it causes much more pollution. Burning fossil fuels is one of the main causes of global warming. The oil and gas gained from fracking also means the US and Canada don't have to get as much energy from other countries. At the same time, fracking is linked to earthquakes, greenhouse gases that hurt the environment, and water and air pollution. Do the benefits of fracking outweigh the harm it causes? The situation. Fracking generates a little more than half the oil and natural gas the US produces today. Fracking was largely responsible for a large increase of oil and natural gas output in the United States. It has made the country the world's biggest producer of the two. However, fracking is not that common outside of North America. There are many environmental concerns about the practice. Fracking is limited or not allowed in parts of Europe, Canada, and the United States. Oil prices are falling, and some U.S. frackers are worried about making money. They have cut back on the use of fracking. This means crude oil produced in the U.S. is expected to drop in 2016. The government made rules for fracking on public land for the first time in 2015, but a judge said the government did not have the right to do this and struck down the rule in 2016. The background. Fracking was first used by a business in 1949 in Oklahoma. Fracking involves forcing water mixed with sand and chemicals into a well to make cracks in shale rock. Oil or gas trapped inside escapes through the cracks. A newer type of fracking involves horizontal drilling. It started in the early 1980s. This drilling reaches thin layers of shale deep underground. Fracking performed on a big shale formation in Texas showed that people could make money by fracking. The argument. Fracking supporters say it allows U.S. power plants to stop using coal. They can use natural gas instead. Using less coal reduces carbon emissions. Carbon emissions are released into the air when things like cars and factories burn fossil fuels. Carbon emissions have been linked to global warming. Supporters also say fracking decreases the country's need to get energy from other countries. One example is oil that the U.S. imports from the Persian Gulf. Those in favor of fracking argue that risks can be reduced. For example, operators can avoid some leaks of the greenhouse gas methane with tests and repairs. Wells can also be sealed with cement. This will help lower the amount of water pollution from fracking. Frackers can also recycle wastewater to use less fresh water. Fracking supporters also say the risks of small earthquakes can be lessened. Frackers can map rocks and avoid areas where small earthquakes could happen. Those against fracking say it is too harmful. These opponents say methane gas leaks might be even worse for global warming than carbon emissions. They say strong rules are needed to make operators spend money to protect the environment from fracking, but they think the oil and gas companies are strong enough to block these rules. Opponents also say that all the fossil fuels that fracking produces will actually be a bad thing. More oil and gas means people won't try as hard to develop renewable energy like solar and wind power. That would hurt efforts to slow global warming.